Hey guys, welcome to Row 87 with Schutz Boom, Season 2, Episode 21. I am Schutz.
Boomer.
We've been away a while.
We've been away way too long.
Some life events have happened.
Yes.
I finally did it. I finally graduated.
Congratulations, brother. I posted that the other day. For those of you who don't follow the social media, you need to do that right now, by the way. Facebook. Everything else.
Instagram's coming.
Schutzy himself is now a professor.
No.
Wait.
Not that far.
No.
Not that far. I did want to wear the funny Harry Potter hats. Apparently, they will not let you unless you have a doctorate. I did not get a doctorate, but I finally got my bachelor's. 10-year journey off and on, not straight. 10 years, I finally got it. It was a great day. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for inviting me. And congratulations on a well-deserved piece of paper for a decade's worth of hard work that you put in.
It was the process, not the prize.
Process, not the prize.
I met a lot of good friends. I had a lot of good stories, a lot of good times. Some of them I shared before we went on air.
Yes.
Of crazy times. We won't repeat them.
No, we will not.
But some good damn times. And it's been a good weekend. I just graduated on Friday. We're recording this Sunday night.
We're still full from dinner.
Yeah. Oh, from the family dinner at Olive Garden. Holy God.
We might have overeaten a little bit.
Just a touch. Jenna was in town from Alabama.
I got to know her a little bit, which was awesome. It was great having a few stogs. Well, she didn't partake.
She didn't partake. But
she was there with the convo.
She held her own. We found a great cigar bar, didn't we?
We did.
Future sponsor, maybe. We hope. We're looking for future sponsors.
Possibly. We need sponsors right now.
Right now. Row87.com.
Row87.com.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
No, she did great. It was great. The cigar bar. We kicked them back and just chilled. Told good stories. Had a good time. This is a great ending to the weekend.
It is.
Christmas holiday coming up. Mine's going to be interesting. I'd be pretty chill, actually, for the first time in decades.
I'm going to chill at home. Christmas Eve, I'm taking care of the stuff with the kids. Going to have a nice time. We're going to go sit down at a restaurant that my oldest daughter works at, so I'll get to give her a present while she waits on me. I tell her to fetch my diet soda, and she will. And then Christmas Day, I don't even know what the matchups are right now, but this guy is going to be watching the NBA. That's my Christmas Day, watching hoops.
Yeah, there's not much football on, is there? There might be an NFL game, maybe. There might be.
No. I think the Thursday games are done now because there's no college on Saturdays.
Well, they don't.
The NFL played yesterday and today.
We'll get to the college matchups. There's still some. They've already started. We're kind of late.
There might be a Christmas Day bowl game. There could be.
I don't think that there is. But what's interesting is we usually did. I dropped the ball. Blame this one on me. We usually have a bowl matchup and a pick 'em. I was kind of preoccupied with graduating.
Listen to you using school as an excuse again.
I know it. But this year we dropped the ball. We won't moving forward. We'll get into some pick 'em at the end of the show.
Yeah, we're going to get into it. It's bowling season.
The good bowl games. The garbage ones have already been played. There's still some garbage, but there's some good matchups coming up this weekend.
There is.
So, yeah, here we are. We've arrived.
Anything else been going on with you?
Now it's time to big boy job hunt.
That makes two of us because
Right.
my current employer, and I'm not going to name drop them, but my current employer is going to be closing within a matter of weeks. So, if you know anybody who's hiring, anybody who... The faithful 20 to 30 people who listen to us every week, if you know of any jobs in the Omaha area,
let either of us know.
Please let either of us know because we need money.
PR specialist, whatever. I'm available. I got one guy that might give me a security gig. I have to find his number, give him a call after the holidays. We'll see.
I'm multifaceted in my talents. I will shovel shit. Sales, retail.
There's a big demand for that.
Customer service. I can do pretty much anything. But
we're jacks of all trades.
And jackasses.
Well,
above all.
If you're looking for that, we've got plenty of that.
I would sign a contract for a lifetime gig if I can be a jackass. That'd be great.
So the season's done.
Unfortunately.
As we know.
Actually, you know what? Not unfortunately. Do you remember having the conversation? I think we had it on air.
Mm-hmm.
Of going... would we be better off going to a bowl game or concentrating on recruiting?
Oh, yes. We had this one. Well, it ended up, we'll get to recruits too.
Sure will.
It ended up pretty darn good for Nebraska on the recruiting front.
So I'm kind of glad we're not bowling this year because I don't know that we would have been able to make all of those connections. Had we been preoccupied with dealing with a bowl game that nobody cares about.
Well, we'd have ended up where Illinois is at.
Although, let's give a tip of a cap. Maybe we would have gone to Detroit.
Well,
woo-hoo.
No, we'd ended up, we talked about it, we'd ended up in the Red Box Bowl.
We would have.
And playing Cal. which, okay, we've been there before. You're right. Hindsight's always 20/20. I wanted them to go to a bowl game just for success rate, but it is
So
what
glad
it
they
is.
didn't. So happy.
Knowing what we know now, you look back on the season, what do you think?
Failure. I actually threw the poll question up a few weeks back. Follow us on Facebook, Row 87. I asked the people if this win was progress or a failure. And resoundingly, 2-1, the answer was a failure. Not a progress, but a failed season. Congrats on failure number 3 in a row as a program.
Well, especially number 2 for Scotty. Very excited about the recruiting class we'll get to.
Very excited. Probably overly excited.
Probably. We always do this. The old
sunshine right now because we got good news for a change.
Well, we did. This season overall was a failure. There's some flashes, I guess, of hope, you can say, with the emergence of Robinson. Yeah, that's wonderful news, right?
You know what? There were a few. Robinson's one. A solid center.
Yeah.
Cam Jurgens' progress throughout the season would be another. Dedrick Mills emerging as your quality every down back.
I think to some degree, I tread lightly with this, to some degree, entire returning offensive line.
Yes. It's going to be huge.
I believe in Austin and what he's doing.
Wow.
I do.
Wow, that's surprising. We did not talk about this before we went on air. That's a change in philosophy a little bit with you.
I knee-jerked. I
think we're both guilty of that. I think everybody in Husker Nation is guilty of knee-jerk reactions.
Let me put it this way. I'm starting to believe in what Austin's doing. With that, as it always is every year, a big year. But I think, to me, this upcoming season, the 2020 season, is a very big tell. I think so. I think by that point you're going to have them. Frost alluded to this. You're going to have the number of walk-ons to where 4 stations in depth will start to show.
Nobody's going to be sitting on their ass at any moment in practice.
No, you're going to have. Not that they really did that, but they still didn't have the stations. They didn't have the numbers. They will now. I think that year 3 under a system, year 3 strength and training, year 3 of a line coach, year 3 of now we've had a freshman class come in, redshirt, and come in with another class, 3 classes now, you're going to start to see the cream rise to the top. The
cream rise.
But you get what I'm saying. This is a very big year. Everybody's like, well, Adrian, we'll get to him on the season recap. But everybody's Adrian and, we're so low on outside linebackers and we're so low on receivers and yada, yada, yada down the line. I say to you, it all starts up front, and this is a big year.
Okay, so it is, but let's, we're going to be looking forward here in a moment. So you brought up Wandale. I brought up Cam. We talked about Dedrick. How about the other side of we talked about some of the bright spots offensively. How about a few of the, give me 2 or 3 of your bright spots defensively.
The safeties is a bright spot to me.
Okay.
They're coming back.
Yes.
Williams got hurt, and he's going to get a red shirt. We're going to get him back. Joe Doman is a bright spot to me. How he's utilized will be interesting moving forward. A guy I wasn't big on, time will tell, is the backers coach, the outside backers coach. I hope I'm putting my foot in my mouth this time next season. I hope I am. Outside backers, as you noticed in the recruiting class, quite a few outside backers.
Yes, sir.
We'll see. It could have been to DeWitt's defense. Listen, it could have been a complete talent deficiency. There's no secret to Nebraska's program and what Scott's trying to do that talent and depth has been an issue.
Yes.
I posted that picture on our site, Row 87 on Facebook. I sent it to you. 10 All-Americans in 10 years. 1 offensive lineman in 10 years.
So you mentioned JoJo.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we should be talking about this year, not looking forward to next, but since his name's up, let's go ahead and dive into it a little bit. I have been preaching. Yeah, I think you're in agreement, but I'm going to ask. I feel as though JoJo Doman needs to be in every down outside linebacker.
He's in every down.
Do you agree?
And I agree completely. I get the allure that he can, he's a bigger body that you can put in a nickel, and you can throw him in there, and he can guard the slot, and yada, yada, yada.
Don't you think we have the defensive backs, though,
I think
to
we
not
have
need
a
him there?
defensive backs coach in Fisher who you can thank your lucky stars we have him this class.
Give that man some money.
Yeah, and he'll
now,
get it. It's
right
coming.
now.
It's coming. It's coming. I think that JoJo's a guy that either he's at back or he's not on the field.
Okay.
That's the way I look at it with him, because we've got enough players. Fisher, the defensive backs coach, has done enough there in the last, this will be year 3 now. He's fine. We don't need hybrid anymore.
I'm going to shoot out two players right off the top that I think were huge for different reasons.
On the defense?
On the defensive side of the ball.
That are coming back?
No.
No.
Bright spots this season.
Okay.
Daniels.
Oh, without a doubt.
Daniels was the true leader of this defense, sadly, because he's been here all of 5 minutes and now he's gone. But he was the true leader of this defense. He did his job. He did his job probably better than any of the other defensive linemen.
Oh, can you imagine the season as bad as we may think it is, and it was?
Without him? Dear God, we're talking about a 3 to 4 win season.
Or a 2 to 3 win season.
I think he was that big. Yes, this has to do with man crush in a sense, but my number 2, believe it or not, and it's more about the culture, not about actual play on the field, because he swung and missed more than anybody else I saw. Garrett Nelson. Garrett Nelson, because of what he brings to the culture of this team. I don't give a shit what the outside world thinks. I don't give a shit who's lined up across from me. I'm going to bust my ass until I can't bust my ass anymore.
I think it's a bright spot.
Basically his attitude.
The bright spot for me is the workings of what we believe through little hints here and there. For me, the bright spot of this season, the silver lining, if you will, is the culture and what's going on behind the scenes.
Even though throughout the season, since we're doing a recap, there were questions at times about where the culture is, where it's heading. I think it's headed in the right direction.
I do too. It's now it comes down to is we're going to get into recruiting. We're kind of all over the place because that's really where this team is. You just don't know. My answer is that I think that the silver lining you can take out of this is I think that Frost alluded to this in year 1. It was after the Purdue game. Sometimes you just got to puke it out. I think they finally puked it out. Yeah. We talked about building a foundation. I think that the concrete is finally drying. They haven't put a piece of board up yet.
Yeah, we talked about this last week, didn't we? Obviously we haven't done a show in a while.
This is something where I think the concrete is finally drying.
Yeah, and believe it or not, guys, Schutz and I hang out quite a bit, at least once a week.
It's a scary thought.
Sometimes it's a couple times a week. It's very scary. Well, we still, even though we haven't been doing shows, you can guess what dominates conversation a lot of the time.
I can only imagine.
The foosball. Okay, so we've talked about a few bright spots. How about?
Oh, we're gonna go concerns. Is that where we're going?
Let's go concerns. Give me top 3 concerns. Schutzy, give me your top 3 concerns about this year.
1, Adrian Martinez's injury, which they now announced he was injured. We gave him up and down roller coaster a lot of bad credit. We gave him a lot of grief.
He was a dud an awful lot on my weekly studs and duds.
We don't know. There was clearly something off about him. I argued mental. You argued physical. They have announced that he did have surgery.
We don't know on what. We will never know on what.
We'll never know unless he decides to free release that. The point is this. My concern moving forward in the next season is the mental and physical health status of Adrian Martinez.
Okay, so that's your 1.
That's my 1.
What's your 2?
Defensive line.
Really?
I think that while we're getting these backers to plug, and I'm excited about that, I just argued and have argued my entire life that it starts up front. You mentioned Daniels. Crickets, he's gone now. You brought in a JUCO defensive tackle. Who's going to fill that middle? His younger brother? Okay, 2 years so far of him. Mixed bag, I guess you could say. Maybe he steps up, it comes to fruition, it all clicks, and he's awesome. I know this right now, he's good for about 4 plays, and he's done.
I see your concern there. Being somebody just to counter that point a little bit, I would say that I feel like we're in very good hands with the coaching at that position.
I do too, and I think that we've got 27, I exaggerate, defensive ends.
And I get your concern in the middle. I do. I think we got the right guy to put the right guy there. I think Tuioti is legit.
I do too. Depth at the defensive tackle. My third concern moving forward is not the secondary. If anything, I'm just so excited about our secondary. It's crazy. I don't think there's a drop-off with Lamar Jackson leaving.
No,
that's nothing against Lamar.
No.
He's
going to play on Sundays.
Leave him aside. He got ups and downs with us. With me, he certainly did. There were times, wow, it finally clicked, and there were other times, wow, he's still the same old Lamar. I don't know. I don't think him leaving affects a thing. Outside backers would be my third. It would, okay. I guess you could tie that with the receivers, but I think we're going to be all right there. Outside backers. You've got guys just clearly, as we'll get to recruiting, brought in recruits. Does it come together? Is it a talent depth deficiency or is it a coaching deficiency? The only reason they're not number one to me is because it all starts up front and it's defensive line. I think we'll be all right on the defensive line with Jakeem Green and this JUCO we brought in and the combination of players we have on standby, but it's a concern.
Mine are our lists are similar, but a little bit different. I'm not even going to put Adrian Martinez. I'm not going to factor Adrian Martinez into my concerns for the year. Was quarterback play concerning? Yes. But to steal something, I can't even remember who the hell it was now. Maybe Joel Klatt? I can't remember who it was asked about Nebraska, and he basically came out. Maybe it was Herb.
It was Klatt. I know
it was Klatt. My number one concern is going to be offensive line. Not because I think they did a terrible job this year, but because they're still gelling. A. B, next year, I don't think it's going to be the same five starting. So you're going to have some newness with chemistry because I don't think that the five gentlemen who started this year are going to start all going to start, and there might be a shift in position.
Let me do the devil's advocate with you. I want to hear the rest of this.
Yes.
But if it's not the five, it's because the right tackle moves to guard and Ben Hart comes in at the right tackle.
Yes, but
I think
Ben Hart's going to be a newbie.
He played in a couple games, and he rotated with them.
He did.
That's why I say though, Boom, and I'll let you continue. But I had to interject to be the devil's advocate. That's why I say look to Greg Austin and go, here we go. This is now where you can start to at least entertain the idea, coach. This is where you start to shine.
I would agree. And the other fact being, you still don't have a lot of senior leadership on the offensive line. Matt Farniok is great. I don't think he's going to be a captain again next year. I'm not knocking the kid. I just don't think that the captains this year were very effective at all, with the exception of Darian Daniels. Was he? Yeah, he was a captain, which, again, tells you something. He was brand new here for a minute and a half. He was a captain. So offensive line is my number one concern. My number two concern, special teams. Because if it doesn't matter how good you are on both sides of the ball, if you can't kick an extra point, you're going to lose a game because of it. If you can't kick a field goal, you're going to lose a game because of it. If you give up a touchdown every 3 games on a punt or kick return, you're going to lose games because of it. If you can't fix special teams, it doesn't matter how good your offensive and defensive units play. You're screwed. If you can't do the little things, you're done.
I mentioned this, and it didn't happen. Me and you talk quite a bit, as the people know, and you and I know, off the air. I don't think that certain position moves that we thought were going to happen are going to happen. I don't know. They still could. That's not a decision. I thought it was going to come right after the signing that happened a couple of days ago. It's not one of those things that's something you can still handle. I don't think there's going to be a firing. I think we can agree on that. We didn't think there was
no
going to be a firing period.
No one's getting fired.
But I do think that there might be some still. I wonder. I'll wonder this. I won't say this will happen. I wonder if there'll still be some internal shifts on how things are handled.
I think there might be, but I'm going to piggyback on your thought a little bit, and what I'm going to say is that I think that if a change happens, it happens after spring ball. Okay. I think we get all the way through spring before fall camp, and the boys can kind of reassess after that. Because after spring ball, you've got, after 2 full years of your coaching staff being together minus 1 position change at defensive line, then you'll have another spring as well to be able to go, yeah, I'm still not very comfortable with what we're doing with this position or with special teams or with whatever, and you might see a change of philosophy heading into fall camp.
I think that, and we're not going to get into our way too early predictions. We're going to save that till about April when we see you guys
undefeated
on the show.
Undefeated.
We got one more show. We're going to do the season recap it, cap the bowl games, cap it, and then we might do a way too early then just for Grin's little showpiece. And then this show is done. We got other announcements coming down the pike of our new flag show, our new flagship show.
We're going to be doing some new things. I know we keep teasing,
but it's actually happening.
We're I could compare us to loose women sometimes.
Oh, God.
How much
Careful, Boom.
We just flaunt it and flaunt it.
80% of our listeners are women. Be careful, Boom.
Are you saying they're loose? I'm not. I'm saying they're upstanding women.
Oh, God.
What I'm saying is that sometimes we can be
we're
that
dead.
way.
We're dead.
I'm saying that we can be that way in the sense that we just throw it out.
Enjoy your walk to the car, Boom, because we're dead.
We throw things out there with no return.
You are like the Joker, like a dog chasing a
investments.
car. You wouldn't actually know what to do if you caught the damn thing.
I'd probably get run over, Schutzy. Okay, anyways, now that we've gone completely off the rails. Remember when we did a few episodes called Off the Rails?
Well, that's where we are now.
We're there right
Ladies,
now.
I would like to know that I love each and every one of you, and I have nothing but respect. I don't think anybody's loose here.
Hey, you're the one who brought our listeners into it. I was just speaking in
God.
generalities, and you have to go. This is why I love doing a show with my brother.
Oh, God. We get into more and more shenanigans. We're like stuck in a cartoon. Constantly stuck in a cartoon, you and I.
You know the cartoon where, all of a sudden your feet just start flapping 1,000,000 miles an hour, you fall, but the hat stays up in the air?
Yeah, that's what
we do
just
that
happened.
a lot. Yeah, that just happened. Anyways, my third concern is no one will listen now. Yeah. My fourth concern
They were going to be murdered in the parking lot.
is again going to be, and this is the one that we agree on. I don't think anybody in their right mind can look at the 2019 season and say, unequivocally, the biggest concern on the football field, either side of the ball, was the outside linebacker position. You talk about swing and miss. Garrett Nelson, my boy, he's my boy. Everybody knows I love the kid, right? I don't know how many times. I can't count on two hands how many times I saw him run directly past
the guy carrying the ball.
To try to go hit somebody else. But I don't think it was because he didn't know a guy had the ball.
Some of it was chalk to freshmen.
Some of it's chalk to freshmen, but here's the issue. He wasn't the only guy doing it. The only guy who played outside linebacker that was consistently good was JoJo Doman.
And he whiffed a couple times.
And there's another gentleman on the field that you were pretty freaking high on to start the season off. Outside backer. Who you
he hit on him. Yeah. Davis. Alex Davis. And I don't know how many times you heard the backers coach, Jovan DeWitt, talk about, he's doing great. He's doing great. The stats aren't showing, but he's really making an impact. Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, but I hear you. I'm with you on this. Bro.
Yeah. It's just.
Yeah, but when you're running a defense predicated on the backers making plays and he's not making plays, my counter to that is if that's true and he's doing, and this is no knock on Davis, kid had the frame and the size that I was big on. He was 6'5" and 260. He's built like a Mack truck. The guy is a specimen, and he hardly did anything. Now, Jovan DeWitt said, and I don't mean jury's out, but Jovan DeWitt goes, what he's doing is making the line shift, and they're keeping a guy in to block and account for him. Well, that means that somebody else needs to be picking it up on the outside. That another backer needs to fill because he's doing that much damage and it never happened. I don't know. I thought that Mo Berry's season was a little subpar, but I think I'm going to chalk that up to, if you listen to the interviews and read between the lines, Mo Berry defended the coaches, but he also attacked them. He said, we need to play better as players, but there needs to be communication going on between coaches and players. And I think personally, I hate to go down, speculate road here, but that was a shot across the bow of the outside backers because I think half the time Mo Berry looked like slip and slide Mo Berry
because
because he was trying to cover the outside,
deficiencies on the outside.
Yeah, and he was I'm out of position on the inside. They ran right up the middle and no one was there
because he was worried about the outside.
He's gone now. Davis is gone. We've got a couple guys coming back that I'm kind of indifferent on. Colin Miller and Honus. I thought more of Honus than we've seen. Maybe
I think Honus might be a bright spot moving.
It might be.
There's no science behind this. This is just kind of a.
Well, there is. He made some plays towards the end of the season. His tackles started going up.
He did towards the end of the season. He was leading the tackle. Not for the season, but the final few games, he was the guy who was popping up towards the top of the list of tackles.
So we'll see. It was a mixed bag. Concerns, joys. We're going to get a lot more into that next show, our last show of the year.
which will take place sometime soon after
the college football playoffs and the bowls.
Correct. After bowl season is over.
Yeah, we'll pick a date. We'll keep you posted. Follow us on Facebook. We'll have it on there.
Absolutely.
Follow us on roadie7.com. A lot
.com.
of news releases. Hopefully, we'll hear from our girl Ash soon.
She's been really she's
had a lot going on.
She's a postal worker, for crying out loud. It's Christmas.
God help her.
Okay.
God help that woman.
She's got kids. So our girl Ashley is way above her head right now with just life.
We're gonna have a party. We'll have her out. We'll have a show party. It'll be a good time.
Hey,
speaking
of what I was talking about earlier when it comes to how we just tease people.
Right.
We'll probably have an announcement or two at that party, by the way.
Yes.
Just to tease something else, because that's what we do.
That's what we do.
It's what we do.
So,
recruiting. I love recruiting.
The 2020 class. I've always been.
It's perfect. Get that pun? Get that pun? Yeah.
Yeah. 2020 vision.
2020.
A good class. An impressive class.
What if I told you that this 18th ranked in the country class, according to 24/7 Sports, what if I told you that last year's class was 18th?
I would tell you that he's had 2 strong recruiting classes. I'm very impressed with when the season ended, sadly, against Iowa. We were kind of looking at each other, and in fact, Husker Nation as a whole was looking around going, we're pretty light on recruits. Now they're going to have more time, but we're pretty light in some spots. And they filled pretty damn strong.
Yes, they did. Again, going back to my God, I'm glad we didn't have a bowl game.
There might be some validity to that. I can certainly entertain it. I think that Travis Fisher, the defensive backs coach, did a phenomenal job landing that Francois and 6 other kids from Florida.
That dude needs to make $1 million a year. He needs to be the highest paid assistant, period.
To keep him around.
Not only because he can recruit like hell in places like Florida. You look at the defense, and he coaches the most solid unit on the field. 2 years in a row, the most solid defensive unit on the field, I would argue.
It's up there. He did an outstanding job this year. So let's run through the recruits, you and I, and just give some thoughts, what you think. And I'm going to, no particular order, I'm just going to run through them. Phildarius Payne, defensive line, 6'2", 270, out of Lackawanna Community College. He's a JUCO, 3-star. I think they bulk him. Maybe a defensive end. What do you think?
I don't know how I feel about the JUCO guys. And it's a philosophy thing, and I understand why we need to do it. I think that this is just a stopgap. He's probably going to be a solid enough guy. At 3-star from the JUCO ranks, and I know that star rating doesn't mean everything because you're going to read off the name of a guy here in a few minutes that was a linebacker that was a no-star until he signed with us, and then he became a 4-star. This was the guy who was from Nevada, I think. Anyway, star rating doesn't mean everything in the world. You're talking about a 3-star guy from the JUCO ranks playing defensive line on a defensive line that lacks depth. Maybe he becomes something special. He's one of those guys that I think is – you and I both enjoy cigars.
Yeah.
Sometimes the cigar is all about how good the filler is, right?
Yeah.
I think he's a filler.
Maybe. I to be honest, there hasn't been a lot of hype train around this kid. There hasn't been. He kind of came out of nowhere. He was one of the last signings we got. Nebraska got. I don't know. I think we're loaded, or on paper, we're loaded at defensive end with guys.
Yes.
That could also be, though, Boom, in fairness, it could be that, yeah, on paper we've got a lot of them. In reality, we don't. Ben Stilley's coming back. He's the only guy coming back that had significant time. Rogers and a couple of other guys, a couple walk-ons played. But that's
Snacks.
Yeah.
Got some time.
But Keem Green, I think he's going to be straight interior. I think they can roll him all over, but I think he's going to be a big interior guy.
Yes.
When
you run a 4-3, they're all interior, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but I mean, he's going to, on a 3-4.
The nose.
He's going to be the nose.
Yeah.
Special packages withheld. But this guy, we'll see. I think he's a filler too. Alante Brown, receiver out of Chicago. 4-star. I think he's a good kid. He's a little light.
He's your prototypical Scott Frost wide receiver.
Well, yes.
Small guy, scat back type. That's what Scotty likes.
I don't, but then again, maybe I shouldn't be that quick in judging. back in the heyday, and I hate to do that, but it's just to give reference here. Scotty ran the ball. The football team ran the ball 60% of the time.
Yes, they did. With
They are
small guys. That's you and I have talked about
Yeah,
this.
this year, Nebraska ran it 60% of the time. Scott and his offensive coordinator, Troy Walters, have been very open that we're a running team. It's predicated on the run. Matt Davison wasn't that big of a receiver. Lance Brown wasn't that big of a receiver. Shevin Wiggins wasn't that big of a receiver.
BS, but I agree. However, they also weren't Big Ten receivers.
Well,
there's
true.
The scat back thing concern. I think this kid's going to be good. Scott Frost has already proven that he can recruit great scat backs that are wide receivers. That's not a problem. I think he'll be good. I mean, I'm not knocking the kid. But in my opinion, he's a prototypical Scott Frost style receiver.
Well, we'll get to him in a minute. Well, let's just get to him now. Omar Manning.
Great get.
JUCO, 6'4", 220, big body.
Big body, and as long as if he is as good as advertised, if he is what Greg Bell was supposed to be at the running back position, I am all about it.
Number one JUCO receiver in the nation.
But that's also what can at times scare me.
I'm excited about him just because it's a big body. I think that
now hopefully he's got some help from other guys that we don't know what they're going to be yet, like Nance, who has size and speed that are already on the team.
I think that help me out, Boom. The tight end that got moved out there from Burke.
Heinrich.
Not Heinrich, the other one. Hickman.
Sorry, Hickman.
Hickman was a tight end. He's 6'5", 220.
Hopefully he develops into a Big Ten. Yeah, hopefully
He's
they
another
put in
one
some
that
weight on him.
I personally think that congratulations, you're a receiver.
Yes.
Because I think Scott goes, that's great, we're getting the scats, and they are. That's proven they are. You need big bodies to throw in there.
Yes, you do.
On the end. Marcus Fleming, kid out of Miami, another Fisher get.
Another 5'9.5" guy who's a wide receiver and weighs about $160.
Yep.
Is a little bit, again, great. And we had this conversation before we went on air. All about skill position guys out of Florida. Whether it's wide receiver, whether it's a defensive back, you know he's going to be faster than fast.
You have to. I'm still a believer, somewhat of a believer, that football is regional and where you get your positions.
But what I am frightened about with this guy, zero doubt in my mind, this dude redshirts. 160 pounds.
Wandell's about a one. Or
he needs 20 to 25 pounds to catch up with where Mo Washington was when he showed up on campus.
Yeah, this guy is, but Robinson was 170 pounds. I don't know. I don't think he'll play either. I think we'll have enough, but he'll be a kid that a year or two down the road. This guy, I'm very impressed with this next guy. Jaden Francois. He's the one that the whole rumors that started and when
your boy Fowler's bunch trying to talk shit and misguide a child.
Well, Fowler's response was pretty funny. He goes, "What is this, 1960?" Everybody tries pulling stuff.
I'm just giving your boy Fowler shit.
Crap.
That's it.
We're giving him crap. This kid, I think, is going to be pretty impressive. He's out of South Dade, 6'1". You notice the size of these defensive backs? They're all long, all of them, 6'1", 6 foot and up, 6'2", 6'3". Long strides, long arms.
If you want it, and here's why. You're in a conference where big boys play wide receiver. You need those bigger defensive backs.
Listen, we're not knocking scat backs. There's a place for them.
Yes.
But you need big bodies, too.
Yes, and which is why teams like Wisconsin and Michigan and Ohio State compete and win Big Ten championships. Absolutely. Even Iowa.
You have big-bodied
receivers. You need those scat backs. You need them. You need those fast, shifty slot guys. You need them, absolutely. But you need the big boys, too.
Jordan Riley, another Garden City Community College, 6'4", 305. I think he's another one that's going to be a Keem Green.
I think I'm going to call him Smalls.
Yeah. He's another Keem Green. Don't you think? Inside, I think that there's a need for it. I think that interior...
They need to build depth there.
Interior needs depth.
They need depth, and they need competition at depth. And he's the type of guy who we're a couple of years down the line, you've got him and some of the other guys that are being brought in or that might still be here, might already be on campus that we don't even really keep an eye on right now. Rotation.
Yep.
So here's the thing. This isn't 1990-something anymore. Rotation is key. In today's college football, you need to be able to have guys that can rotate with very little drop-off. And we've already discussed the fact that at certain positions, it's been a talent or depth or a combination of both that has been an issue. This kid is the kind of guy who might be able to provide some of that depth.
Jamari Butler, here's a kid I'm big on, out of Alabama. Outside linebacker, 6'4", 210. They're going to put a little weight on him.
About 15, 20, 25 pounds, yeah.
But 6'4", I like that.
Big guy, yep.
Nico Cooper, 6'4", 225, out of Hutchinson Community College. Another outside guy. Keyshawn Green, this was a huge get.
Yes, it was.
Inside linebacker, he's only 208. That will change.
That'll change.
He's going to be on campus, I believe, in January. 4-star out of Florida. He was highly sought after. We got him. Maybe he might even redshirt just because they'll give him 1 year, but he's going to be a big-time contributor. Our inside backers, as it sits right now, are Honus, a senior, Colin Miller, a senior, Crickets, Reimers. I think Reimers is going to play more of a role than people believe.
I think he will, too.
That kid flies around from the inside backer spot. He'll play a role. We covered Omar Manning. Here's your guy out of no, it's not him. I'm sorry. But Maga Clements.
He's the guy who was a 0-star.
He's according to this, it jumps. He's a 3-star or a 4.
Yep.
He's the guy that community college. I think the JUCOs they got for a reason. When you get a JUCO, the kid doesn't come here or anywhere to be told you're going to sit. Now with Keem Green, what they said is sit you to get you into football shape, and then you're going to have 2 years of terror where you're the starter.
Now, again, recruiting, take it or leave it, whatever you might think about it. This should say something about the state of Nebraska football. We know they weren't very good this year. They weren't very good last year. They weren't very good the year before. You got a guy like Mauga Clements who didn't have a star rating and appeared nowhere, really, in recruiting rankings. Signs with Nebraska, commits, before he even signs, commits to Nebraska. And according to 24/7 Sports, he was the 39th best JUCO player in the nation and the second best outside linebacker.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, and the 9th best player in the state of California.
It happens.
It says something about where this program is headed. It does.
When we'll get through these, and then we'll touch base on the whole culture and the recruiting thing. Marquise Black, 6'4", 295, big boy. I think he'll redshirt. I think he's not a JUCO. I think he's one of those they're going to bring in get some good weight on him. Ronald Delancey, the third cornerback, surprise, 6 foot, 162 out of Miami, Florida. He'll redshirt. Henry Gray, safety, 6'1", 180 out of Miami, 4-star safety.
Yeah.
Defensive backs, I love that he's so loaded. I mean,
how flipping crowded is that room going to be?
But it's also going to mean breeds competition. There's guys like Braxton Clark, 6'3", that played a little bit this year. He's going to be a big role. We got so many corners and safeties. We ought to start kicking out All-Americans soon, honestly, because of the depth they've got.
At those two positions, at corner and safety, yes.
Oh, my goodness. Marvin Scott, I'm big on this kid. Running back out of Florida. He's a 3-star, but he's a power lifter. He's 5'9", 195, but he's more like, they say, over 200 now. He's going
Pork chop?
Yeah. He's going to be. He's going to be a guy that I think is going to come in and has the potential to contribute right away. We'll see. Savion Morrison out of Oklahoma. This was a good get. 6 foot, 187.
Huge get.
4-star. He was sought after. He's going to have a chance to contribute. Now, we touched base on this before the show. Held, the running backs coach of Nebraska, he's big. He's big on this recruiting class. Says, I think it's going to bring the numbers up to where they need to be. I argue they're still a year away. Not because of who they have, but I think that you need Mills is going to be a senior, and you need these guys that you've been pumping, but we haven't seen a lot of. And we're not talking about these freshmen just coming in, but the Ronald Tompkins and the Ramir Johnsons.
And we will get into the, obviously, even after the next show, we're not going to do way too early predictions. We're going to wait until maybe after spring game.
Oh, yeah.
Or fall camp, before fall camp is done, before we really give our season predictions.
It'll be post-spring.
But I will say this, a generalized statement that I'm comfortable enough saying right now. I think we're a few years away from real success, and I think that the upcoming year is going to be more about progress than anything else. Progress and development than anything else. Progress and development across the board. And I think you're right about Savion Morrison. I think he's going to see some clock. These are the kind of guys you're going to need to develop. Because he's not the tallest of guys, but at 5'11", 196, he's close to Big Ten size. You don't need to put much weight on 196. 15 pounds, 20 pounds, and he's good to go as a running back in the Big Ten, because you're going to need somebody like a Savion Morrison to be able to fill the hole left by Dedrick Mills. So, yeah, I think he's an important get.
William Nixon, another receiver. He's actually bigger body. He's 5'11", 185. Now, it's still 185, but it's a lot better than 165.
Yes.
That's somebody you can put good weight on. I don't think he'll see the field this year. The next kid, Blaze Gunnerson.
Huge
get. Midwestern kid out of Iowa.
Stole the best player in Iowa.
6'5", 250. I do think he's going to have some growing pains, but he reminds me, not as nasty, but he reminds me of Garrett Nelson.
He's going to be. I think he's going to redshirt. I think they'll redshirt him this year.
I think he'll play 4 though.
Oh, he'll play in his 4, but I think he'll be a redshirt this year.
To me, the gem. I know it's not Corcoran, who is the gem. Literally, he is the gem of the class. To me, this kid is the one I'm really excited about. Hopefully, he can stay healthy. They can keep the clean weight on him. Nash Hutchmacher out of South Dakota. 6'5", 305. He's a 3-star. I think they're crazy. He's a 4 in my mind.
I think he's a 4 as well. I think he's the best. Well, 24/7 Sports actually had. Oh no, not Hutchmacher. This kid is
a freak.
A freak, but not only is he a freak, he is a good old boy. No, I'm not talking about backwards country. I'm talking about the kind that will just lift up the combine when a part needs to be replaced, that you have to jack it up. He's the one the neighbor calls and says, "Son, I need you to lift for me." And he gets it done. This guy has the potential, if properly coached, if he can stay healthy, he fits this culture very, very well. Scott Frost said the most unique in-home visit he's ever been on. Why? Because they went hunting.
They went pheasant hunting. I'm excited about this kid. Yeah, his size, but his footwork, he's a state champion wrestler. And I've watched his tapes. Oh, he can move. I'm surprised they're not going to how do I word this? I am surprised he's not being entertained on the offensive line. He's that good. He can move.
He can, but I think...
I want him on defense.
He needs to play defensive
line.
Defense.
He is welcome to the nose and freakish.
The future. He's the future at the nose tackle, nose guard, whatever you want to call him, position.
Alex Kahn out of Kansas. Did we score well in the Midwest this year, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
He's interesting. He's due for a red shirt, I'm almost certain.
Yes.
But he's one to watch for. Taman Lynham, cornerback out of Florida, 6'2", 177, 180.
Love the size on that kid.
Watch out for it. Here's your boy. Boom's big on it. It might be his favorite in the class. He certainly is the number 1 rated guy in the class. Hands down, Turner Corcoran.
The one that nobody talked about because he was a hard commit from day one, never wavered, and it's hard to really focus on the sole offensive lineman. There might be another offensive lineman on
Alex
here.
Kahn and a couple of guys, but yeah.
But I mean,
he was just so quiet and so quick, and it was over. He closed down his recruiting. I'm Nebraska all the way. He had offers from Clemson, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Michigan, Ohio State, Missouri.
24/7 Sports had him as the 38th best player in the nation.
And we got him early. And right away, and it was over, said and done. He shut down his recruiting.
6'6", 280. Kid's got size.
He'll be 300 by the end of spring.
He will. By the time fall camp hits, he will be 300 pounds, if not 305. He's going to be an absolute monster. I think he is the diamond of this recruiting class, even though most would argue, probably because of an absolute need, that Omar Manning the gem, and he is. He's a gem. I just think that long term, grabbing the best player in Kansas from Kansas is huge.
Xavier Betts, 6'3", big bodies.
Okay, Xavier Betts is
great get.
A great
Out
get.
of Bellevue West here in Nebraska, 4-star, 6'3", 190 right now.
You just have to hope that he does get the job. He's not an early enrollee because he himself. Now I'll give the kid this. Most kids kind of hide stuff like this. He didn't think he was going to sign because he wasn't sure about his academics.
In between the years.
Scott Frost said, "Son, sign." Now I've also heard this. I can't remember which local show it was, but I heard folks talking. He performs better under pressure,
which is good.
Which means, God willing, he makes the grade and is eligible academically because he is already the size. He needs a little bit of weight, but he's already has the size of a Big Ten wide receiver. Another guy that we need on this team. And he's not just a big body. Blazing speed, was the number one player in the state. That's a huge get. Huge get for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
And finally, actually another big name. Interesting, we'll cover more of this in the spring. Logan Smothers, quarterback out of Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Number 13 ranked dual threat, 4-star quarterback.
You and I had a conversation. We went to a local establishment and had dinner before the show. And I looked at you, and I said the most important, or not, what? How did I put it? The most dangerous man in the quarterback room is Logan Smothers, and here's why. Last year we had a conversation where we were talking about McCaffrey and how he was coming in knowing damn well he wasn't going to start because there was a guy by the name of Adrian Martinez who we thought was a world beater at the end of last year. Now you've got a guy like Logan Smothers. Why is he dangerous? Here's why he's dangerous. He's walking into a room knowing that there are potentially, and I said potentially because I am pump your brakes guy, potentially 2 All-American caliber quarterbacks in the quarterback room. But Logan Smothers didn't run off and take an offer from a South Alabama who gave him an offer, or a Southern Miss who gave him an offer. He said, I'm fully aware that there are 2 potential All-Americans in the room, and that's where I want to go because I want to be the best. That makes him, in my mind, a very, very dangerous man, and that's a good thing. That's a very good thing.
You need that on a championship caliber. Now, I am not about to say that we're up to the level of Alabama. We're not. We're not even close. But a key factor to showing progress and to showing that we're on our way is look at Alabama. Jalen Hurts leaves, and while Nick Saban probably didn't love the idea, he wasn't hurt by it. No, that's fine because I've got a solidified room. That is what you need if you want to grow and to become one day a Clemson or an Alabama. Yeah. You need that. I think it's going to be a very interesting spring. You and I have touched base on it. Going to be an interesting spring in what happens in that room.
I generally give 3 shits about the spring game.
I don't either per se.
Generally. We had this discussion at the end of last year. I will say this. I will be attending this year's spring game just because I kind of want to see the dynamics. Can you gauge a whole hell? I still believe you can't really gauge a whole hell of a lot from the spring game. Last year, we didn't see some of the best players on the team in the spring game. For example, Wan'Dale Robinson didn't touch a football in the spring game last year. I will argue that Wan'Dale Robinson was the most important player on offense in 2019. Check row 87, I handed out my Boomies, the first annual Boomie Awards. Wan'Dale Robinson was the freshman of the year. My offensive MVP was Mills because I think Mills was the most consistent player of the year. Didn't miss real time from injury. I believe was kind of mismanaged to start the season off by the coaching staff who, again, are going through growing pains themselves. I will be at the spring game this year. I will be sitting there hopefully next to you in the Oracle, whomever else might be going, because what I want to see, and again, it's hard to gauge when you're playing against yourself, in a sense. our offense, our defensive, both with deficiencies. It can be hard to gauge, but I'm taking a page from the Schutzy playbook in that it's an opportunity to maybe see if guys have changed size-wise.
Development.
Because we need to see whether or not it's we've seen a jump from year 1 to 2. I think we can agree with that.
Yeah.
Hell, we saw a jump from the previous regime to year 1 in the weight room with weight.
Now you need to see true development. I told you, now that we've covered recruiting, I real quick hit on the fact that I love the walk-on recruiting class they got.
Yes.
We're not going to go through the names, but there are some gyms in there, a lot of linemen, a lot of players that can fill that fourth station, a lot of practice players that can be really good.
Shit, transfers from Colorado State.
Yeah, a lineman.
They've
got guys. What the beauty of that is it's 4 stations. For those of you who don't understand what 4 stations is, it means that they run 4 separate stations at a practice.
No one is idle at practice.
No one is idle. They're running the same offense and defense. Everybody's getting reps. It is a good thing to have if Nebraska ever hopes to come back to what it was. The one thing that Nebraska had back then and has today that is a leg up. It's not recruiting. It sure as hell isn't in fertile recruiting grounds.
Walk-ons?
It's walk-ons and able to run reps. Nebraska is the only school that has been able to do this, I guess. Frost brought it back. They want 150 players on their roster. You won't find that anywhere in the country for a lot of reasons. The love of the team. Also, how many people are you going to convince to come in and pay their way through? $40,000 a year, $30,000. You go to Penn State.
A guy we didn't mention because technically he's not on scholarship until the first day of fall camp. Brother of a former Husker.
Isaac Gifford?
A blue shirt. Nothing I've ever heard of before.
Yeah, I've never. That's a new one for me. It's where,
but I dig it.
He does not take any home visits, and he'll be put on scholarship when the season starts.
He pays for spring because he'll be here early.
Yep.
He pays for spring, and when fall camp hits, he's on scholarship. Smart move.
But you can convince kids to do that. It's very rare. Like I was saying, like at Penn State, they tried that when Joe Pa was fired or let go, and that whole scandal with the Sandusky thing went down. Nebraska coaches flew out to Penn State to talk about the walk-ons and how they did it. They actually were in coordination with Penn State. They actually came here too to see how we did it. They couldn't sustain it. They have every school has walk-ons.
Yes.
But not to the level Nebraska does, because you have to convince a kid to give up a D2 school or a school that will pay a full ride for him to go to, have mom and dad pay out of pocket for him to walk on, and maybe if he's lucky by his junior or senior year, he's playing special teams.
Look at it this way. Nebraska, at their peak, which Scott Frost, and I'm not talking about Scott Frost reaching the level of success that Tom did, okay, or the 90 squads, at their peak of the walk-on program, which coincided with the glory days, Nebraska, ideally, even under Scott Frost, is going to be able to say, we could field a Class A high school team with walk-ons. They're almost there.
Yeah.
They're almost there now.
Scott alluded to the fact that now we're finally going to have the practice numbers we need.
I think they're one cycle away from being where they want to be with walk-ons.
Well, he said that this is finally where we're going to feel the impact of it this year, this upcoming season. They're probably another year away from, holy cow, now we've got them all. But now they're going to actually be able to do something with it after 2-3 years.
Which I'm excited about.
I'm excited too.
Let's talk about this year's national champion. Roll Tide.
I was wondering where the hell you were going with that.
Roll Tide.
We're going to get to the bowl predictions here.
I want to talk about Alabama. I want to talk about substance abuse. I want to talk about substance
Well,
abuse.
they're playing Michigan. We'll cover that in a second. What do you like on that one? Good matchup. Good blue blood matchup.
Woo.
Love that matchup. We'll get to it. Let's start it off. We're a little late. We know it. Again, we apologize for not having the bowl predictions up.
That's okay.
Odd year. UCF on Monday, December 23rd, playing Marshall. UCF by 16.
You know what? They win, but give me the points.
Give me the points as
because
well.
UCF, for the first time in a couple of years, isn't really playing for much.
No.
They're really not.
They're 9-3. No. Hawaii, BYU in the Hawaii Bowl.
I'll take the home team.
Well, they're both filled with Samoans, so
I'll still take the home team.
Hawaii, BYU's favored by 1. I'll join you, Hawaii.
I'm going to take Hawaii outright.
Here we go. My boy Fowler's listening to this one. La Tech, Miami. La Tech is 9-3. Miami is 6-6. Walk-ons, Independence Bowl in Shreveport, Louisiana. Miami by 6.
Take the points. Miami wins. Take the points. Miami wins.
I'm going to say this because this should happen. If Miami wants to hang its hat on anything, Miami, I'll give the points away. Miami.
All right.
Should. I stress should happen. Pittsburgh, Eastern Michigan. Kind of a yawn game, really. Really it is.
Give me Pitt.
Pitt by 11, I'll join you. Temple, North Carolina.
Give me
Old
Temple.
Mac Brown.
Give me Temple. Temple had one hell of a season. It's Temple, dude.
They were 8-4. North
One
Carolina
hell of a
6-6. UNC is favored by 5.
Give me the points. Outright Temple. Outright.
Outright Temple.
Outright Temple.
I'll join you. I don't know why. I usually don't join you on anything.
I wouldn't either when it comes to betting games. I'm great at point spreads, not picking the one who wins them.
I hit this one before the show. Not that it's that sexy, but it's an interesting matchup because we've hit on this guy all season long. Michigan State in Wake Forest, Pinstripe Bowl at your favorite stadium in the world. Michigan State, Wake Forest, 6-6 versus 8-4. Michigan State by 3.5.
Outright upset. Wake Forest.
Do you think Wake? Here's what I've always attributed to bowl games, unless you're playing, of course, in the playoffs. Do they want to be there? Does Wake Forest want to come up from North Carolina, play in cold-ass New York, and play Michigan State in a Who Cares Bowl?
Yes, because Wake Forest is a never was. Michigan State, over the past 5-10 years, has actually played in a Rose Bowl. They're actually considered not a blue blood. I don't think they've ever won a national championship in football. But up until the past couple of years, had a coach that many, I believe, nationwide would consider to be one of the best.
And now we're at the point where we think that he may be
done after next year. Yeah. I think Wake Forest has more to play for.
I'm going to do it again, damn it. I'm going to join you. Oklahoma State, 25th ranked versus Texas A&M. 8-4, 7 versus 7-5. Texas A&M by 7. This is going to be a shootout.
I think this is one of the toughest games to call.
I do too.
I think this is a very, very. This is going to be a good football game. And it's
Give me
hard
the mullet.
for me. He's a man.
Give me the mullet. He's a grown man.
He's a grown-ass man. Give me the mullet as well.
USC, Iowa. Me and you go round for round on this for different reasons. Iowa by 2.5. 8-4 versus 9-3. You take.
I'm taking, believe it or not, those of you who know me, I thought that there was a good chance that the head coach of Iowa State would be the head coach of USC at the end of this year. I thought Helton would be gone. But it's hard to fire a guy who got you to a bowl game and improved on last year. I'm going to take USC. Believe it or not, I'm not going to take my guy, Matt Campbell, and Iowa State, who I low-key cheer for now every week. I kind of am in, like when it comes to the Big 12, if I had to pick an old nemesis to root for, if I had a Big 12 team, it would probably be Matt Campbell in Iowa State because I like that dude, I like his style, and I like his team. But I think in this game, Matt Campbell is up against the Todd Helton team.
It's not Matt Campbell. It's Iowa, brother.
Oh, it's Iowa. Never mind. Okay. I'm still going to take USC. Iowa,
Kurt Ferentz.
I'll take USC.
I'm going to take, I've picked them. Maybe I'll be wrong once. I don't know. Every time I pick them, except for the Nebraska game, they lose. I think Iowa. I don't think USC, while they play hard for Helton, they're going down to San Diego. Congratulations. Who wants to be there? You get to go an hour down the road. Half of you are from San Diego. Wow. What a bowl trip. I think Iowa takes it. Iowa's favored by 2.5. I think Iowa takes it.
To devil's advocate, as you like to say, I think this is big for USC, even though it is right down the road, but more so because it's right down the road and they have their foot on the neck of UCLA, who's the only real competitor in state for recruiting. Some might argue Stanford. Well, you got to have brains to get into Stanford, as opposed to most other colleges in the country. He has a good showing in the Holiday Bowl on a national stage in his home state where they have just as many fertile recruits as any other state in the country. I think it could be huge for USC to put up a big show.
I'm excited for this next one just because it's a styles thing for me. Air Force, Washington State. That's fun. 10-2 Air Force versus 6-6 Washington State in the Cheez-It Bowl. You've got Washington State, high-flying offensive attack, the Angry Pirate, who teaches himself Spanish in between practices. He just walks around with a Spanish book. And
He's a genius.
He former attorney. I love Leach. I love that Air Force runs a triple option. They smash the rock. They cut block against Washington State, who doesn't really play defense. He doesn't even really believe in it. He doesn't recruit for it. He's basketball on grass all the way before basketball on grass was big. It was a big popular name. Everybody thinks Chip Kelly. Wrong. It was Mike Leach. He just happened to be at Lubbock, not the sexy Oregon.
Correct.
This guy, this is going to be a fun one because I think it's going to be a 100 to 101 final. I don't know. We'll see. Air Force is known to grind out the clock. They're going to burn a lot of clock. But I don't think Washington State plays very good defense. Air Force is favored by 3. What do you think?
Air Force outright, and I think it's more lopsided because I think that Air Force is going to play physical football. I'll take physical football over a high-flying offense any day of the week, especially a team that had as much success as Air Force did this year.
I would tend to agree with you, and this is one of those rare cases that I'm going to say to you that Leach has played academy teams several times in his career. He played Navy and beat him pretty good when he was at Texas Tech. I think Leach, only because 9 times out of 10 you have a power offensive line that runs smash mouth, you're going to win. In this case, I think Leach is just going to outscore him. He's just going to outshoot him. And Air Force will lose. I think it's going to be a fun game. I think Washington State outright. I hope I'm wrong because it goes against my whole philosophy and core belief. But I think that Washington State will do it. Another fun one, Memphis, Penn State, 17th versus 10th ranked. 12-1 versus 10-2, Penn State by 7.
Penn State dropped the points. The head coach that made Memphis what they are is no longer there. The end.
Fair enough, I agree. Here's one. Now you can talk about your boy. Now
Loss.
Matt Campbell.
Somebody's going to lose in that game. I don't know.
Iowa State versus Notre Dame. Notre Dame by 4. Notre Dame's 10-2, Iowa State 7-5.
I'm going to take Notre Dame. I'm going to drop the points. I'm not even really going to think about it. I think Notre Dame is a superior team. I do not think that the coaching is superior in South Bend, but I will say that I believe the talent that there's too much of a talent gap there. Too much of a talent gap. Not that even Notre Dame is really a top 5 class or top 10 recruiting class, but
I'm going to have to agree with you, but I'm not going to go with you.
Okay.
Iowa State stuns Notre Dame and wins. We're going to cover the playoffs last, so we're going to jump ahead to a snoozer of Western Kentucky versus Western Michigan.
I'll take the West.
I'll take the Western team as well. Western Kentucky by 3.5. I'm going to say sure, why not?
Yep, fine.
Mississippi State versus Louisville.
Give me Louisville.
Really?
Yes.
Ole Miss fired their coach. Mississippi State didn't. I'm going to say Mississippi State. I don't know why. They're favored by 4, by the way. I'm just a feeling. Okay, here we go. Your boy through and through. You love his beard. California versus Illinois. 7-5 versus 6-6. Hey, Illinois went to a bowl game. Cal by 6.5. I'm going to take Cal.
Not so fast, my friend.
All right, Lee. Okay, Lee.
Not to poke fun at the coach who had a stroke and doesn't really think all that well anymore, but yeah, I went there. Not so fast, my friend. I don't know why. Lovie Smith had a pretty good recruiting class, believe it or not. Not
it was 12 people.
Not in volume, but he got some gets, so to speak. Lovie Smith is showcasing his talents. You want to talk about, we're playing in our home state? Right? Where'd you say they're playing this game at?
This is, I'm trying to pull it up. This game is being played in the Red Box Bowl, California, right down the road.
He goes into California, and he wins a game that Cal is not even excited. Cal's sitting there saying to themselves, wow, we get Illinois.
Yeah.
I think that the world is shocked, and I think that the greatest bearded coach in America at the college level Gets her done.
Okay.
And ends the season with 7 wins.
Okay. All right. I'm actually going to tune in and watch that one.
I might too.
I'm going to tune in. I'm not going to tune in and watch this one because I think this is going to be horrendous.
What's up? What up?
Florida, Virginia.
Yeah, that's going to be a bloodbath.
10-2 versus 9-4. Florida by 15. I think Florida's up by 15 by halftime.
I agree.
I think that this one is. It's the Orange Bowl. Remember the Orange Bowl was really, really big?
No.
I think that this one is a shit show. I do. I hope I'm wrong, but
I agree.
I don't really care, but I think it's going to be. Virginia Tech, Kentucky. I like Virginia Tech in this one all the way, and I'll tell you because I got some inside. Well, I was reading, and you could tell Kentucky's disappointment in this bowl game. They interviewed them, and you could tell on the faces of the players. And said, well, we were hoping for this. They let that slip. But you know what? Where AD and the coach came out, nope, we're just excited. We're very happy. They did the whole politician's answer to, hey, are you excited to be here in the Belk Bowl in North Carolina? Yep, we're excited to be there. We're going to give it our all. I think Virginia Tech, who was a laughingstock to begin the season, has more to play for, goes in and rolls. Virginia Tech all the way.
I'm going to agree with you on that one. Virginia Tech.
Here's one just because I want your insight.
Okay.
6-6 Florida State
Yes.
versus Herm in Arizona State. ASU by 4. Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. That's a fun name.
I'm going to take FSU.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Noles.
I'm going to take Herm and the fact that Norvell's not there yet. Did he jump? Did he
He's
jump
there.
ship? He's there?
He's there.
Yeah. I like Herm.
Him and Papuchas.
Oh, yeah.
Papuchas.
Papuchas, former Nebraska defensive coordinator, who's jumped all
Hey,
around.
Papuchas got a bad rep, to be honest with you. I think our defense as a whole would have been better if Bo would have let go of the reins. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, well, I think that Arizona State takes it. Drop the points. This one is one of my favorites. Yes, I'm partial to the academies, the style. My sister went to this school. Navy finally won the Commander's Chief after 3 years from losing to Army. 23rd ranked 10-2 versus Kansas State. You want to talk about a slobber knocker? This one's going to be a fist fight.
Oh, old JR. Slobber knocker.
This is going to be a fist
My God.
My God. Navy by 2. This one is going to be a fun one to watch.
I'm going to take the Academy. I'm going to take Navy, drop the points. And I like the way K-State played football this year, so it's not a hate thing for K-State, man. I am going to take the Academy.
I'm going to take the Academy as well. Their quarterback is good. For Navy.
Yes, he is.
Good running quarterback. I like him. Wyoming, Georgia State. Wyoming. I'm going to take Wyoming just because I do respect their coach. Craig Bowl came from North Dakota State. They play tough football. They're favored by 7. And quite honestly, I don't know much about Georgia State.
That's exactly why I'm going to go ahead and take Wyoming and probably be wrong.
Here you go, Boom. Your favorite team. You weren't high on them. You were right. A prediction you got right, Boom.
The one and only.
From day one, 11th ranked Utah, 11-2, taking on Texas in the Alamo Bowl in Texas. Utah by 7.
You want to talk about a bowl game where there are two teams that I didn't believe in playing one another. I did not buy Utah in any way, shape, or form. I never bought Utah as a legitimate contender for a title, even though they tried to kind of jockey them, and by they, I mean the committee, tried to jockey them into being able to jump or leapfrog their way into the college football playoff.
And Oregon took care of that.
They were exposed real quick in the Pac-12 championship game against a Texas team that honestly is playing for an awful lot in this football game.
Well, their coaches.
Which is why
I don't
they
think
are.
he gets fired one way or the other, but I think the seat gets awfully damn hot in Austin.
He needs this game. Which is odd to say for a bowl game. Because
A bowl game that means ultimately nothing, but it does.
He needs this game. What's the spread?
Utah by 7. Drop it. In my mind, drop it. Drop it. Drop it.
Drop
and
it, yeah.
I say mismanaged from the top down.
I had to think on it because part of me wanted to pull the trigger and say that somehow Texas wins this game just to stay alive, just to stay above water.
Texas's problem has never been the Jimmies and Joes.
Texas's problem is administration.
Administration down.
Yeah.
It could be a Jerry
Hey,
Jones.
you know who works in the administration? He's not the head of the administration, but would you like to know who works for the University of Texas?
Who? Sean Eichhorst?
Sean Eichhorst.
Yeah.
What does that tell you about decision-making at the administrative level at Texas?
Yeah, he does not make any personnel. He's the administration side.
Don't give a shit.
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
Yeah, that's a problem.
There's a problem there, so I'm going to. I was thinking about going the way of upset, drop the points. I think it's a train. You know what? We're going to call that game the Texas train wreck. Choo choo.
It may be
Choo-choo.
what's his name? The coach, Texas.
Oh God.
Hot name, came from Houston. Herman.
Tom Herman.
Tom Herman. Excuse me.
Herman.
Tom Herman.
Yep.
I think he might be. This has been the biggest problem at Texas for years. It cost Mac Brown his job. You've got too many quarrels going on upstairs with donors, athletic department, and I think that maybe it's the coaching too in this case, maybe not. But they chased Charlie Strong out of there. No, they also fired him at USF. But they've got too much internal turmoil. It's not the players. They get good recruiting classes. It's Texas. It's the flagship of Texas. Yeah, I like Utah on that one. Here we go. Oh, I'm going to get shit for this one.
What's up?
Minnesota Auburn.
Woo!
PJ Fleck taking on Gus Malzahn and my boy Ian Hogg. Love you, brother. A bunch of Marine Corps brothers were down there hunting this last week, and I missed him. Sorry I missed your calls. Minnesota Auburn, Outback Bowl, 10-2 versus 9-3. Auburn by 7.5. Be honest. Be objective. I know you're going to flip me shit because of PJ
I'm actually
Fleck.
not. I'm thinking about this, and I think that the team with more to gain by this win
Would be Minnesota.
is Minnesota. The team with more to lose
Is Auburn.
is Auburn. Auburn also shit the bed against the UCF team a couple of years ago because they didn't want to be in that bowl game. Auburn is a team with a coach who the fan base has a love-hate relationship with, and almost any given year to start the season off when you're talking about Auburn football is, will Gus Malzahn be the coach after this year?
True.
Year in and year out. Gus Malzahn is the type of guy to where you just don't know whether he's there or not, whether he's legit or not. PJ Fleck, you think is an outright used car salesman. You don't like the guy. I've actually earned a little bit of respect, not just because I like to give you shit about him, which the world knows I do. I think he's got something going. Say what you want about his coaching style. Say about what you want about him being cheesy as shit. Here's what he's effective at. Getting his kids to believe and to follow direction and to, yep, I'm going to say it, row that boat. You brought up what his speech is going to be. Tell us what Flecky's speech. Were they playing the backdrop, the setting,
They're
and what
playing
is
at
Raymond James, right?
Raymond James and the pirate ships that are there, and he's going to say, row the boat. This is the chance to send our seniors off and to really dive into next season.
Hey, let's fire a cannon and let's beat the SEC and show them what Minnesota football is all about. I'm taking an outright win by PJ Fleck, not because I want to give you shit, but because I believe his kids believe in him and his message, whether it's cheesy or not. I don't know, man. I think they win outright. I'm probably wrong, but
I think that Auburn. Shout out to you, Ian. I'm picking them because everybody's already the pundits are saying, well, Auburn will lose, and they'll say they didn't want to be there. They'll win, and they'll say, yeah, whatever. It's Minnesota. I'll say this: Auburn knew when they beat Alabama, they weren't going to the show. They knew that. I say that Gus Malzahn has a lot to go for here. You can look across this, and Gus Malzahn can say, hey, we learned our lesson last year against 2 years ago against Central Florida. I'm always on the hot seat one way or the other, love-hate, like you say. I think Auburn blows the doors off Minnesota.
Which is very possible.
I said this against when they played Wisconsin. I go, not even close, 3 touchdowns. And it was. Auburn's defensive tackle is a first-round draft choice. They're going to meet talent that Minnesota, aside from Sands, Penn State, who's not known for their defense, hasn't seen. Not even Wisconsin touts what Auburn does in talent on the defensive side of the ball. And I think that Auburn's just going to run away with it. I could be dead wrong and row the boat, flourishes once again, and Schutz look like a moron. I think Auburn destroys them.
Fair enough.
Auburn played Purdue last year in that high-flying Jeff Brahmy attack to a 63-14 loss to Auburn.
But that Jeff Brahmy attack was a team that barely made a bowl game. And I would argue that this Minnesota team as a whole is much better than that Purdue team was last year.
Fair enough. We're going to find out.
We will find out.
Michigan, Alabama, 14 versus 13, 9-3 versus 10-2, Alabama by 7.
Drop it. I think Saban's pissed. Saban's sitting at home. Saban will be sitting at home watching the first round of the CFP. His players are going to be sitting at home watching the first round of the CFP. Saban's not done.
Every part of me wants to agree with you. Every part of me, and here's the wackiness that is Jim Harbaugh. They get embarrassed once again to Ohio State. There's grumbling. He'll do what he's done since he's been at Michigan. He'll go in and beat a team he shouldn't. And I think that's
very possible.
I think that's what's going to happen in this one. For some fluke damn reason, Tua's not playing for Alabama. Michigan will win 25-24 in some wacky way, come back and win it, and everybody, Harbaugh just beat Alabama. And here we go again, and it'll be the same old story. I think for some reason, call me crazy, and I am crazy. This is an absurd pick on my behalf. Michigan wins this game for some damn reason. You would think Saban, and for every reason you're saying, are you right? Saban's pissed off, and his players should be. Let down of where do you want to be?
I will say this. And write this down. For those of you who download our episodes, make sure you save this little portion. If Michigan beats Alabama, we have officially seen the beginning of the end of the dynasty at Alabama under Nick Saban. They lose this game, we have officially seen the beginning of the end of the current Alabama dynasty.
Fair enough. Oregon, Wisconsin. Wisconsin by 3.
Drop it. I think Wisconsin wins that football game. I like the way Oregon played against Utah. I thought Utah was an inferior team to their record and their ranking. While I think Oregon is a good football team, I don't think they're physical enough to beat a Big Ten team like Wisconsin in a bowl game. I'm going to take whiskey.
I'm going to join you. I'm excited to see this one. And I'm excited to see this next one. Georgia, Baylor. 11-2 versus 11-2, Georgia by 6. I think Georgia big. Quite honestly.
I think this isn't even close. I think this is a game that I turn at halftime and find a nice reality show to watch or something.
I'm impressed by what Baylor did and what that coach has done there. Especially
he's done a hell of a job.
After with the turmoil and all that Baylor.
Walking into an absolute disaster and doing what he's done.
They've been on a dream run.
Respect. Much respect to that guy. However,
I think they hit a buzzsaw.
I think they hit a team that hits hard. I think they hit a team that hits quick. And I think they hit a team who themselves are pissed off.
That's what I think. Boston College, Cincinnati. The Fighting Fickles, 10-3, taking on 6-6. Boston College, who just fired their coach. He's on his way to Colorado State. Cincinnati by 7, drop them points.
Drop them without even thinking.
And they come to town next season.
We'll get into the predictions for next year.
Later on.
Next year.
Indiana, Tennessee. This one's intriguing. And I'll tell you why. It comes down to who wants to be there. I think across the board, Tennessee out-athletes them. They're only 7-5. Nebraska out-athleted Indiana. Hands down they did. That can't even be
you
a
and
question.
I, side by side, witnessed that one.
Hands down.
Still a little
It's
pissed
not
off.
that Indiana recruits well. They don't. They're a basketball school, but their coach gives a damn. He has them play tough.
I think they lost their OC, so that might be interesting. I think their OC got a job somewhere else.
Who wants to be there?
Oh, Indiana.
This is an interesting game. Tennessee's favored by 1.5. That tells you.
I'm taking God. They're quickly becoming the only team I hate in the East, by the way. Because I no longer hate Ohio State since Herb's not there. I don't really have a problem with Ryan Day. I don't. Kind of like the guy. He took over. Now, granted, he took over a very well-oiled machine and just kept it going. But he doesn't seem like an arrogant prick who, knows that murderers are on his team and does nothing about it, and knows that people are doing things to people they shouldn't and does nothing about it, like Herb does. I don't have a problem with any team. I don't like Indiana because I watched them beat us probably more than anything, and that just pisses me off from the outset. I don't like them because they're Kansas to me. They're Kansas.
They're a basketball.
They're a
school.
basketball school who came in here. Now, it's our own damn fault.
Oh, that wasn't a question of athletes in that game.
But I think that you're right. They want to be there. They are bowl eligible, baby, and they want to. And what better way to finish your season than, while they're definitely not a power of the SEC, to flex on a SEC team?
I would agree with you, and again, this is one of my crazier predictions. I still think at the end of the day, you know what? I'm gonna.
It's a tough game to call
because if Tennessee wants to be there, it's Tennessee all day. A lot of teams played Indiana and overlooked them. They did, and I'm not excusing Nebraska. Inexcusable losing to them. I'm going to agree with you. I think Indiana does this. Now, if Tennessee gets out to a good start, and wants to be there, it's over, son. But if they don't and they hang around, I like Indiana in this. I like Indiana.
Okay.
Ohio, Nevada.
Give me the Fighting Frankies, baby.
As well. They're favored by 7.5. Kind of a yawn game.
Give me the Fighting Frankies. Sentimental value alone.
Southern Miss, Tulane. Tulane by 7. Sure, why not?
Yep.
Louisiana. The Raging Cajuns versus Miami of Ohio. Louisiana Lafayette by 14. They're 10-3, taking on 8-5.
Give me the points.
Really?
Give me the points.
Okay.
But the Raging Cajuns win the game.
On to the good stuff. We're on to the ones that mean a damn.
D2 playoffs, baby.
You betcha. Oklahoma, LSU. Let's start there.
What's the spread?
LSU by 13.5.
Drop it. I think Mr. Burrow is ready to showcase his talents.
You don't think curse of the Heisman?
No.
Not in this one.
No, not in this one. We'll get to the second round.
Yeah, that's when I think the curse is going to hit him.
But in this game, I like them. Drop it. I am a big guy, a big fan of Jalen Hurts. I think he's already being undervalued when it comes to the NFL draft.
These two offenses rank first and second, and off by 0.1 yards in difference.
I would even give Oklahoma the coaching edge. I think Lincoln Riley is a genius.
He's a quarterback whisperer.
He's a genius. Here's what I give LSU the nod to, and I don't even know where they rank defensively. I will take an SEC defense over a Big 12 defense any day of the week. And I'm going to have to that's the difference in the game. I don't think I think we could both agree that this team defensively is better than the K-State defense that found a way to keep Oklahoma from scoring as much as the offense did. This is the same Oklahoma defense that allowed as many points as it did to K-State.
I think LSU, I'm going to drop the points as well.
Yeah.
This one, if you'd have switched this around, I'd have felt much better because this one's scary. If you're Ohio State, this one's scary. Clemson has been unnoticed. They've been not talked about. They're the defending champions. And nobody's saying a word. They're taking on Ohio State versus Clemson. Clemson by 2.5. This is scary.
Drop it without even batting an eye.
Really?
I think Ohio State had been the best team in the country all year long until they were exposed in the first half to Wisconsin. You can't take a single snap off against Dabo Swinney. Not one.
Yeah,
This is the same Dabo who bitch slapped Nick Saban last year.
I think that you're onto something.
I think they have the best quarterback in football, and Trevor Lawrence, not to take anything away from Joe Burrow. The best pure quarterback in football plays in South Carolina, and his name is Trevor Lawrence. Best coach in college football. Yes, I think he took that mantle last year by bitch-slapping Alabama, is Dabo Swinney. I think you got receivers that are undervalued. I think you've got a defense that's better than it maybe even showed at times this year. And I think that Ohio State's magical run, while repping the Big Ten very, very well, and getting the Big Ten back into the CFP, really got screwed. If they listen, this is a much different scenario if they're meeting in the championship game. Because I would also take Ohio State in a heartbeat if they would have stayed at the number 1 spot.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Ohio State in this, believe it or not.
I'm not knocking your position. I can see where you would pick them. I just think that just as, we might be seeing the beginning of the end of the Nick Saban era. We just watched the rise of Skywalker a couple days ago, and we are seeing the rise of Dabo right now.
Well, I'm taking Ohio State. You're taking Clemson, so that goes to the championship game. Talk about yours first. It would be, in your mind, it'd be Clemson versus LSU.
Clemson LSU, or LSU Clemson, if we're seeding this properly. I have been an LSU fan for years, more so college baseball, and I've talked about this on the show. I grew up down the street from Rosenblatt, South Omaha boy. LSU fans are amazing to be around, to party with. They are knowledgeable about their sports. That's a team that plays with passion. Every year, they're my favorite. They're my favorite SEC team. I would not say that they're my co-team. My Huskers are my team, but I find myself rooting for LSU every year. If I'm going to have to be stuck watching a Southeastern Conference team, it's LSU. Putting that aside, I think Dabo Swinney is the best coach in college football. I think they have the best quarterback in college football, not to take anything away from Joe. I think Clemson is back-to-back national champions. And I think that they, obviously there's no spread on that game now, so I can't go point spread. But I'm going to say that they beat LSU by roughly 9 to 10 points.
Okay.
So a game, not a blowout, but not a nail-biter either.
Okay. Well, I think personally that the national championship is crowned in that Clemson-Ohio State game.
I would agree. If Ohio State wins that game, I'm picking them to beat LSU.
I think that Ohio State will do it. I really do. No, that's not the Big Ten fanboy. I just think Chase Young's a freak on the defensive line. They've got a great couple linebackers. They've got two guys that are first round secondary. I don't think that there's a tackle in America that can stop Young, and I think that that's the equalizer. You take him out of it, and I think it's a different ball game completely. That's why I think it'll be a great national championship game with Ohio State winning by a field goal to a touchdown. Late, back and forth, great game, but I think Ohio State wins the whole thing. That's what I think.
And it's okay to be wrong.
Watch Oklahoma come in and do
It's
the whole
okay
thing.
to be wrong. Oklahoma win. Boomer, Sooner, all day. All day, Boomer.
Shout out to my friend Okie. He's a huge Sooners fan. He's from Oklahoma. They call him Okie for a reason. That's what I think. We're going to have one more show.
After the CFP?
After the CFP. We promise no more teasers. We'll announce things.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
Here's something I will announce now. Keep your eyes peeled. To row87.com. We've been doing a countdown of the greatest cover songs of all time. We're in the single digits. We're getting ready to go. By the way, there's not going to be a single thing posted to the website on Christmas Day because enjoy Christmas Day with your families. So this week, I believe we go. Let's see. We're going to have 6, 5, 4, and 3. So we're gonna by Friday we're gonna have the number 3 cover song of all time listed, with just 2 more to go to wrap up 2019.
It's been a great year. It's been an up and down year, but a fun year.
It's been a fun year. It's been a year of growth for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. It's been a year of growth for Schutz Boom.
Oh, God, yes.
It's been a year of growth for Row 87. I mean, last year, this time, instead of paying for a website, we were paying for a podcast hosting site.
We're growing.
We are growing. There was no row87.com this time last year. 2019 is a very important year to us. It's been a pleasure for me. I think if you were to listen to one of our shows last year and you listen to this episode now, night and day in how good we've gotten. Not to toot our own horn or pat ourselves on the back, but I think we've come a long way as a team. 2019, huge year. While you had already known her, we added a talented writer and editor who doesn't give herself enough credit. In conversations I've had with her, emails back and forth,
Ash, we love you.
We're talking about row87.com here. I want to say the 3 or 4 most viewed things on our website have all been works done by her. Not episodes of our show, not anything I have blogged. They've all been Ashley Morton specials. All of them. The top 4 or
Managing
5.
editor, and she's going to be a big part of this next shift we're going to do. Actually, a bigger part than she is now.
Yeah. We're again, to selfless plug here, we need you.
We do need you to share our content, follow us, share it, subscribe. This is growing. We're excited. I can't wait to see what 2020 brings. It's been an up and down, but ends on a great note for old Schutzy over here. Personally, I'd like to thank my brother for putting up with me and Ashley for putting up with me. And you, the viewers, for listening to us. We love this. We love where this is going, where this is headed, the new announcement we'll make at the end of the season. Slow and steady, but it, like I said to begin the show, progress, not the prize.
I would agree.
I think so.
We've made a lot of progress, I think, as people, as human beings. I know the two of us, and I'm sure Ashley would probably agree as well. We've done a lot of growing this year, not just weight-wise. I've packed on some pounds.
We've got announcements coming. We do. I'm excited. This has been I want to thank you guys, and I want you guys to have a great Christmas and holiday season.
Absolutely. Enjoy family and friends, man. Enjoy it.
Enjoy this time of year. Enjoy the new year. We might get crazy posting pictures. We'll see before the new year. A lot of stuff coming down the pike. We owe you guys. We're here because of you. We love this, clearly. The announcements that are coming are going to be very exciting. It's going to be more involved with more people. Exciting stuff. Stick with us. We look forward to it. We will talk to you sometime in January.
Stay tuned, guys.
Stay tuned. It's coming. With that, I am Schutz.
I'm Boom.
We're going to see you soon.